What's good, everybody? So, episode 3 of Ranveer's Life Hacks. And today we're talking about something that is super close to my heart because it's a skill that I've built over time. Now, I get told a lot that I'm really good on screen. And when I was starting out on YouTube, I was told that as you progress with YouTube, you're gonna keep getting better. And I've actually seen this happening. The more I come on screen, the better I get, the more confident I get in front of camera. And if you've been following me for a while, you've probably noticed this as well. My style of doing things early on was very different from what I'm doing now. Now I feel like I'm still more of myself. There is still some way to go until I reach my 100% potential in terms of confidence in front of camera. But my point is that confidence isn't something inborn. It's something you can work on. And that's why in today's video, I'm bringing you 5 easy points to help build your own confidence. And this is from personal experience and helping other people with their confidence as well. Remember, I am a fitness coach, but I'm also a life coach. A lot of my clients, I help with things like this. Either way, starting out with point number 1, one of the most important points. Now, most people are underconfident, and that's something you need to understand. A lot of underconfident people, when they go into social situations, when they're in a group, when they're talking to people, they're always thinking, shit, what's that person thinking of me? What's that person thinking of me? Is he thinking I'm fat? Is he thinking I'm ugly? You gotta understand, everyone is kind of underconfident. Everyone is a human just like you, and they're in that same state of mind. It's just that the confident people are a little more at peace with themselves. They're a little more comfortable in their surroundings. Most people are thinking the exact same things you're thinking. The first point is that you need to accept this fact. Accept it, make peace with it, and move on. When you have this internal realization that everyone else is just like you, it kind of helps you develop the base for your whole confidence game. And once you've developed this base, we can move on to point number 2. So point number 2 is that think of that one person who you're the most comfortable talking to. Is it your best friend? Is it your mom, your dad, your sibling? Whoever it is, think of everyone as that person. So I'm going to give my own example. With YouTube, I found it very weird talking to the camera. I thought it was something super strange, talking to a non-living object. And over time, what I've tried doing is that I think that my camera is my best friend. Now, your job, if you want to build your confidence, is that whenever you're in a social situation, whenever you're at a party or you're talking to someone for some work-related thing, do not be intimidated by that person's presence. Kind of try telling yourself that they're just like your sibling or they're just like your best friend or your mom or your dad. And you've got to carry that same level of comfort that you have with in your comfort zone with your family or your friends into every situation of life. You need to be at peace. Stop constantly telling yourself that, oh man, what's he thinking of me? What's she thinking of me? Stop going into that zone. Keep staying in your comfort zone in all situations. Which brings me to point number 3. How do you actually create this comfort zone in every situation? Now, one very important thing you've got to know is that people's perception of you is dependent on how you perceive yourself. You constantly need to have a good perception of yourself. You need to be super comfortable and super confident in who you are, no matter who you are. You've got to remember one very important thing. Even if Virat Kohli comes in front of you, you shouldn't be intimidated that, oh, this guy's the best cricketer in the world. Cricket is his talent and his gift. You've been given your talents and your gift. You're no lesser than him. We're all born as equals, and that's something you've got to remember. This isn't about, looking down on other people. It's just looking at yourself as a king or a queen. You've got to be super comfortable. Any situation you go in, you've just got to be okay with your surroundings. And that will only come when you're very comfortable with who you are. So no matter what your weight is, your height is, it doesn't matter. You are perfect, and that's what you've got to keep telling yourself. And coming to the 4th point. Now, all these points are kind of how to build internal confidence. And I feel confidence is a 2-part game. Now, there's an internal confidence game and there's an external confidence game. And unfortunately, this external confidence game is kind of related to how shallow human beings are. Now, you know how you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover? Unfortunately, the world that we live in, a lot of people judge you by your cover. They judge you by your appearance or by your physique or things like that. And that's why those are some things that you can build on. Just like how you can build these internal confidence skills, you can build external confidence skills. When you work on your physique, when you work on your dressing, it all has a carryover to how people perceive you. When you dress well, people perceive you as a confident guy or an intelligent guy in terms of something like fashion. And all that kind of builds a perception in people's heads. So when they're talking to you, they're talking to you with that, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy. He's a confident guy. That's how people perceive you. The same thing with physiques. You ask any gymmer who's gymmed long term, especially the guys, once you've kind of built a good looking physique, it definitely has a carryover to your confidence levels. And that perception in people's heads will have a carryover to your mind. You'll be more at peace with yourself. And finally, the fifth and most important point. Now, any footballer or cricketer didn't just become good at football or cricket when they were born. They've practiced a lot. Over time, they've played that game a lot and become better at it. Even with YouTube, the more I do this, the better I get. Now, I've spoken about how I used to go on the road and tell people to subscribe to my channel when BeerBiceps was small. And actually going on the road and starting conversations with strangers is what helped me build my own confidence. And that's something people need to understand. If you want to build your own confidence and if you want to be confident in any situation, it starts with actually placing yourself in situations. Remember, growth only happens outside your comfort zone. And when you place yourself in situations and when you start a conversation and that person responds, it's kind of like your responsibility to carry the conversation forward. And in the process of carrying the conversation forward, you're becoming a more confident person. So even in the first 4, 5, 6 times, if you kind of fail in that conversation, it's okay. You're learning from your mistakes. You're learning from all the social mistakes you're making. And you're eventually becoming a more socially stable person, as I call it. You're becoming more at peace with yourself. The more people you talk to, the more you get out of your comfort zone constantly, the more you'll build as an individual from the inside. Either way, guys, that was the video for today. Confidence is something that can have a huge carryover to your happiness. And remember, I'm making these videos to make the world a happier place because that's something I want to do. That's one of my life goals. And if I can help you become more confident and eventually become more happy because of your confidence, I feel like I've achieved my goal. Either way, guys, as always, drop your questions. I'm going to start addressing your questions in my next video. So until next time, guys, from Ranveer, see you.